creating that life is simply one decision after another, after another. Those decisions will start to compound and creating your life by design. What is up? It is Kim Ward, and you will see today that I am far from alone. I am surrounded by some pretty incredible humans. We all have pretty unique and crazy stories, but one thing in common is that we have joined forces and we've locked arms to create a pretty impactful, pretty cool project. So coming soon, and I mean soon, like I don't know if you guys are ready for this soon, towards the end of March, you are going to see our Life by Design compilation book, where each of these amazing people have stories that when I think about, my heart is tugged a little bit. And we didn't want some stuffy, typical project. And I said, hey guys, let's do something fun. They were a little scared, but they all were brave soldiers and showed up anyway, to really get real and raw. And the point of this project is to help you create the life and business that you've always wanted. And when you realize that creating that life is simply one decision after another, those decisions will start to compound, and you're no longer finding yourself playing the victim role and creating your life by design. So here we are. And what I've asked these troops to do today is, what are you hoping that your audience really takes away from this project?
I hope that they understand that joy, even though it doesn't seem possible in the given moment, in any moment that you're living through, joy is possible. And it may take some work to find that joy. It may take some tools to understand how to find that joy, but it's always, always, always possible. So I hope they learn that no matter what they're going through, there's always hope and there's always joy.
Sounds kind of cliche, right? But we're all living proof that it's possible. And that's what we're hoping, is to get to the nitty gritty, dirty, chapters of transparency and share with the audience how we got through it to the other side. So I want you to think for a moment of yourself when you were truly at your worst. Sometimes that's hard because we've all done the work to heal and to get well past that point, and we tend not to look back. But what do you wish someone had told you when you were at your worst to help you get through it a little bit faster?
Just that I wish I had known I was going to be okay, that I could get through it. I wish I had known I didn't have to be quite as devastated as I was. And I wish I had looked for the positives in things earlier.
So powerful. I'm not going to get emotional today. You're just number one of many. Looking at the people who you want to reach down and help. Now that Kim has healed and grown and you're where you are, what is something that you would like to tell those people?
That you can get through things you never thought you could get through, and that there's support out there for you, and that you are loved beyond measure. And it's okay to reach out and ask for help. It's okay to seek out the people who can help you. And sometimes the people closest to you can't help you. Sometimes you need to go outside of your circle to find the help that you really, really, really need. Because if they're too close to the situation, they can't see what you really need.
There's something special about an unbiased feedback or unbiased opinion. So how do you help people these days?
So I help people release trapped emotions. I have a lot of tools to help people get rid of whatever is in their body that's trapped. And I have a technique that I use. We can go in and find that trapped emotion and release it very quickly. It's very painless and it's fast, and the results have been amazing in working with people. What can be accomplished in 30 minutes is crazy.
That's awesome. So where can we find you? Where do you hang out?
So right now I'm pretty much on Facebook. ThriveEmotionally.com is coming, and we'll have resources of where you can find me.
That's awesome. I'm tagging you in the comments too, so people can click your name and just be totally redirected to your profile and find your groups and all the cool things you're doing. So
great.
Yep, you've got 11 days to get your chapter in, so let's go,
yeah, Kim. Working on it.
No pressure.
No pressure.
Let's go. Did you know what a control freak I was before you came into this?
I didn't, but I like it.
All right. Thank you so much, Kim, and stick around. All right, Martha, I bet you didn't expect me to call on you, did you?
Not so quickly, but I'm good and I'm here.
All right. What's up? What are you hoping that your audience kind of takes away from this project?
There's a couple things. One, that it's so easy to look at our successes that we have and forget about the fact that it took quite a few failures to get us to that success. So to accept the successes we have to sometimes accept those failures and see where they brought us forward too.
Damn, not so easy when you're going through it, right?
No.
We're on the other side and we can reflect those lessons and those blessings that show up.
And then on top of that, realizing that, it's so cliche and easy to hear, you have to hit your rock bottom before you can change. You have to hit your rock bottom. And when we think of rock bottom, we think of these huge, losing everything. Life is no other alternative in order to make something happen. And it doesn't always have to be that case. You don't have to make that rock or hit that rock bottom or somebody else's rock bottom in order to make the changes that you want to make in your life.
So speaking of rock bottom, because that's something so different for all of us, right? Everybody's rock bottom is different. When you were at your worst, what is something now that you had hoped or wished or would have liked somebody to say to you, hey, Martha, take this advice?
I'll say when I was at my rock bottom, my personal rock bottom, people did try to give me advice and point out they were there to help me and stuff like that. But I had to listen to myself and give that moment of clarity, that moment of space to be able to willing to take in the help. So there had to be that shift. No matter who, I was blessed. I had a lot of people to support me, but until I was ready to accept it, it didn't matter what anybody said to me until I was willing to open my ears and listen.
Stubborn ass. We're all like that, aren't we though?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, of course. Yeah.
Thinking of all the other stubborn asses that are out there, right? What does Martha today want those people who are going through maybe their worst or their rock bottom to know?
Oh gosh. That it doesn't have to get that bad in order to whatever you need to do to change. It doesn't have to. Kind of like Kim already said, there is hope. And there are people there to support you. I mean, I was blessed. I had people around to support me, but not everybody does. And sometimes knowing that it can be that moment of clarity, that moment of space, of silence, to make a choice of oh, I really should call somebody. Oh, I should really do this. And then taking that next step to act on it to help with whatever's doing can make the difference.
So what do you do these days? How are you impacting the world?
These days, I help women who are questioning their relationship with alcohol and want to change that because it's starting to wreak havoc on their relationships, their jobs, their health, all of it. And they may not realize that it's causing all those issues, but it's starting to creep in gradually. And so just helping them to get that under control so that way they can make better choices and be there for those moments that they're missing out on, especially with their moms, with their kids, or for their clients and their businesses, and to be there for themselves. So,
yeah. The younger me, the baby Kim, is always so fascinated when I hear you talk, and I really listen like fully, because I was raised by an alcoholic mother, right? And so it's not just you. There's endless ripple effects to every choice, every decision, everything that you're doing in life. And sometimes I thank her and sometimes I cuss her out. But, you know, it's like those moments of me trading food stamps for her cigarettes. If we didn't have money for a family car, but how did we always have money for alcohol, right? And those are the things that I grew up wondering. So I love what you do, and I will always help support every panelist here, and especially things like that are so close to my heart. So thank you. Martha, where are you hanging out these days? Because I love watching your reels, man.
Facebook and Instagram. Follow me right there. I do have a Facebook group called Happier Hour, that for women who are struggling with their drinking. And then on Instagram, I'm under Sober Mama CEO.
I love it. I love it. Keep making those videos. I really enjoy them.
Thank you.
Now I'm making videos about sober living, and I'm saying, my friend Martha, I'm having so much fun making it. It's not even my lane. I'm just like, I just jumped into your bandwagon, so hope you don't mind.
Come along. Thank you for having me.
And I tagged you as well, so follow Martha, man. If you shoot, seriously. I mean, I remember being 8 years old and being dragged to an AA meeting, and I could recite the Serenity Prayer in the 3rd grade. And you really don't understand the impact that one coach, one mentor, one thing, one book can have on the rest of your life. So follow these awesome leaders. Vicki, I know you're at work, so I want to call you out here real quick. How are you?
Good. Yeah, I figured I'd jump on real quick. Thank you very much.
Thanks for making the time to fit us in. I love it. Pretty much the same framework. What are you hoping that your audience really walks away with from this project that you've said yes to?
Well, I think the beginning is I always thought I didn't have a story on there, and because it was no big trauma thing that happened in my life. But to me, my thing is all those little things that happen in your life is your story and made you the way you are, good or bad, type of an idea. So to realize that the biggest thing is to love yourself. And that has been my transformation. I've lost 150 pounds. And I'm still on a journey of some more, but to me, I thought, well, if I lost the weight, everything would be great. And it was more that I had to realize I had to still learn to love myself. I might have loved the body that's coming on the outside, but to learn to love yourself that's on the inside for it. So that has been my journey through my faith, through my community, to learn that to love yourself. And I want women to realize that they can write that next chapter in their life. They don't have to be stuck with all those ways their years have been on it. It might have been a long time being to come to that way, but they can still rewrite their chapter and rewrite who they are and learn to they can actually learn to take care of themselves, be first, have fun, laugh, which is something I haven't done, the last few years, but before that, it wasn't a normal thing for it. So that's been, where my passion is to learn to love yourself for who you are and then work on what you want to change. Not thinking because you change it is going to make you love yourself.
You guys give me goosebumps. And when we get you together, it's like the worlds collide. This is incredible. I'm telling you, if you do not walk away loving yourself as a changed person after you read this book, you're broken. You're broken. So even though you didn't have some big, massive, traumatic, memory or experience, there had to be a point where you were still maybe not quite where you wanted to be, maybe 150 pounds heavier. That's amazing. That's amazing. What would you wish or had hoped, like someone looked at you and said, Vicki, here's some advice. This is going to get you to your end result or your next step a little bit faster.
I think, like I said, it was the point of that you don't have to do it alone. That you always think that you got to keep it to yourself. If you're overweight or you go on a diet, you don't share it or do anything. And I think it's that you always think you're the only one who's going through it or only one has that problem on it. So when I started my faith walk, that learned for me to start loving myself, because I would always put myself down immediately and put that defense up that I was, type of thing. So it taught me that I can love myself and have other people let people in. And then when I got to the point of back in 2018, I was at the healthy level of disgust that I didn't like my life where it was on it. And to me, it's been my faith. I've asked God to give me the direction. He gave me the system that I use to lose the weight and work on myself. And I just wish I would have probably done it earlier in life so that I didn't waste all those years of having what I want. But I realized he put me through the journey when he did, because I needed that journey. I needed that journey to change my weight, change my faith, change my beliefs, because in the last 2 years, I was a caregiver for my mother. And if I didn't go through those changes, I wouldn't have been able to take care of her before anything else. She passed away in September. So if I didn't make those changes, I wouldn't have been able to do what needed to be done. So though it may not have been when I wanted it to, it was when it needed to be done. So, and I think that people need to not worry about what didn't get done, is, look at what you still can do and how far you have gone and where you can still go. So I just wish somebody would have told me not to hold on to the past and think it's always going to be that way, that you can change something when you put your mind to it, because it's a mindset more than anything else.
Wow. I love that. I love that shift in the perspective, in the mindset itself, because, I teach a lot about mental health and the stigma that is around it, but everything here is like, whether we are at our rock bottom, whether we're heavy, whether we don't have faith, there's always some kind of shame, some kind of blame, and not reaching out for help. There's still a stigma attached to all of that. And so a lot of times we feel like there's a lot of cliche sayings and a lot of little marketing lingo that's like, oh, yay, okay, great. But we have to get to the real work here. And that's why I chose to really bring everyone together and say, let's do this, because now there's no excuse. You're going to resonate with somebody here more than another person, or something you're going through. You're going to be able to reach out to Vicki and say, help me find my blind spots. Help me get through this. And you're going to come out and find that joy, like Kim said. And like you said, we're not looking back at the blame and shame game. We're looking back now. There's value and there's quality. And it's how can I make the best moving forward? So my question for you is, what do you do now? How are you supporting people? What does your business look like?
Well, I'm a life coach, and my thing is to empower women to learn to love themselves first. And by doing that, they can pursue their passion and purposes, but utilizing systems and frameworks, because if you try to do it on your own loosey-goosey, it's not going to work. It's in a long term. Type of an idea. And the same as with a health weight or anything else. If you just do it you think you're going to take a quick pill and it's going to work, it's not. So if you want to do, and it's so, to me, by utilizing those things, help keep me on track with the chaos that goes around in the world, to keep you refocused and get back where if you go off the wagon or off the cart, you have the tools to get yourself right back where you need to. But that is my passion, is to teach people that kind of skills that they can utilize themselves throughout their lives going forward.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Where are you hanging out? Where can we find you?
Most people can find me on Facebook. Nothing else. That is my main thing. I do a little bit in Instagram and stuff, but my main thing is my profile on Facebook. My personal one, I do have a business one, and I'm working on getting a whole website up too, just as a more of a landing page type of thing. But just under my name, Vicki Bakora. You can find me on Facebook. And my business is Optimal Life Balance with Coach Vicki.
Perfect. We give your profile a tag so people can just click on your name and redirect to you. So thank you.
And I do
Vicki.
have a group, and I do a group too of coaching. So
awesome. That's awesome.
But thank you. I am going to turn my video off, but I appreciate it. I will be
Thanks for being here
as long as I can.
Awesome. Thank you. There she is. Welcome back. This is our second project that we worked on together. Yes. We've done another project under an amazing leader who produced our last best-selling book, and that was a lot of fun. So now we're kind of stretching and doing something different. So this time around, what are you hoping that your audience takes away from this project?
I really hope that they see that,
like Vicki was saying, we each do have a story, and each story is completely different. Some people have a more traumatic story than we do. Some people have a less traumatic story than we do. But whatever story we have, it is who we are. I mean, it is why we are the way we are today. God has had a purpose for it. There is a reason for it. We cannot see it. We may not ever understand it until we get to the other side, but he does have a purpose for what we've gone through. And so, I really hope that they find hope, that no matter what story they read, they can see, even from the most traumatic to whatever, there is a way out. There is a way through to the other side. I've struggled with, as you know, I've struggled with mental health most of my life. I never actually made a plan for committing suicide, but I did contemplate it several times. So, and my health has always been an issue since I was born. So there's just been so many things and then there's been other things that have happened in my life too that have really added to the trauma I've endured. But anyway, there's hope. No matter what you're going through, the best choice is always to choose life and to stay here and to work through it. Reach out when you need to. There are people out there willing to help you. There are people out there who will love you through it. So
I love that. I love that. And it's no secret, I'm an attempt survivor. And it's moments like these, and I'm not being corny. I mean, I can be, but this isn't one of those times that I look at moments like this and I'm like, I'm actually so happy that I survived. I'm so grateful that I survived. And what a reminder.
Yeah, because God has that purpose for you. He had a purpose for you surviving so that you could come and do this book, among all the other wonderful things that you've done.
Yep, you guys are awesome. So I will say, there are people like Vicki, right, who have no trauma. They have no heartfelt, shitty childhood. And that doesn't make them less than, because they don't have a woe is me story.
Right.
And then there's people like you and I who've had a lot of different worsts. We've had a lot of different rock bottoms. So I want you to pick something that you've gone through in your life, and what would you have liked to, have heard from somebody to help you kind of collapse that time frame and condense your process.
I really wish somebody had told me that there was a main reason that I had both physical and mental health issues, and that was because my gut health was out of whack. Because it's really the key to both our physical and our mental well-being. And so if somebody had told me, work on your gut and you'll be amazed at the difference in your physical and mental health, I probably would have laughed at them at the time. But it really, going through that and experiencing that now over the last 5 years, it really is amazing what a difference having a better gut can do for you. So, and this is a relatively new topic for researchers. They've only been studying it really for the last 20 years. So they've just barely scratched the surface on the importance of gut health. And I've barely scratched the surface of what they know. So, I just really want people to know that there is a reason. If you're feeling crappy, both physically and mentally, there is a reason for that. So, and I really wish somebody had told me that much sooner.
I would ask you, what would you like to tell somebody? But I chuckled in my head when I thought that, because I'm like, they could just go to your TikTok channel and learn what you want them to know. Because guys, she is the most consistent person delivering content when it comes to gut health I've ever seen. So what is your TikTok handle? I'm going to plug that here.
Teresa.s.think.
Okay.
And I do share some of those to Instagram too, and on Facebook Reels.
Awesome. I gotta tell you, I learned so much. I'm like, no shit. So just give me something. There's people out there who are sluggish, unenergized, moody, depressed. And this may sound corny. We've seen different, companies out there going, oh, gut health, and we tend to just glaze over it, right? We don't really realize that the majority of our immune system is in our gut, and that there is a super highway from our gut to our brain telling us if we're happy or not. So what would you say to that person that hasn't been said already?
Well, also not just the immune system, but also 90% of our serotonin, or 90 to 95%, is produced in the gut. And serotonin is one of our happy hormones. And if we don't have a good gut balance of good and bad bacteria, then that serotonin is not going to be produced, and we're going to feel worse mentally. But there's also, like you said, it happens to so many systems in the body are tied to our gut, our nervous system, our digestive system, and just so much else. So it's just kind of amazing to me what all is tied to it.
That's awesome. Well, keep serving, keep adding value. I just plugged your TikTok and I tagged you on Facebook. So you guys can find Teresa, and those videos are so valuable. It's not even funny. So go stalk her for a little bit. All right, you, Teresa.
I actually help empty nester moms who have been struggling with health and wellness throughout their lives, and who kind of put themselves on the back burner over the years to actually to improve their gut health so that they can live the healthy, happy, and abundant lives that God created just for them. So that's what my focus is.
I love that. Thank you. I was too busy focusing on your TikTok and playing your videos in my head, because now my 7-year-old daughter watches Teresa like this. You stop it. Stop it.
I love being your celebrity in her eyes.
I know. Oh my gosh. You've got amazing things going on. I met you as a online business manager, and that just took a whole different cool relationship. And I learned more about you and what Bold Moves Boss means to you. So what is something, as you roll out this sister brand and the sister company, that you really want your audience to walk away from this project and that rollout?
Yeah, so the whole spirit behind Bold Moves Boss in the chapter that I'm working on is being unapologetically authentic. Just really being comfortable and okay with your okayedness, right? Just in being genuine, and showing up as you, not having to worry about which mask you're putting on, the mask of maybe I'm wearing my mom mask, or I'm wearing a business coach mask, or, Girl Scout mask, or I'm with my really close friends who, hopefully with your really close friends, you don't have to wear a mask, but, but we have these different faces that we show up with in different scenarios and different groups, and in front of different people. And, my hypocrisy is showing a little bit, so I'll have to tuck it in a bit, but, and because it's hard to have the courage and bravery to step out and just show up as you, not feel guilty about you, and really embrace, who you really are, who you really want to show up as, not because of how other people tell you should show up, or how other people tell you need to operate in your business to find success, but just in being authentic and speaking from the heart and coming from that place of genuine caring and wanting to serve, that you can find success, and you can show everyone your amazing inner self and just illuminate the world around you. So it's really about igniting or reigniting that spark that's deep inside you and carrying that out into the world with you, so that you can have this ripple effect in the world around you, and help other people charge their spark and ignite inside. And maybe if we all were focused on doing that, we would have less chaos and upheaval in our world. It sounds very altruistic.
Love it. You're just being authentic.
Yes,
authentic.
yeah.
It's fine.
That's my big wish. Yeah.
I love it. Authenticity is everything. And I'm curious, Bold Moves, like this brand and the mission behind it, was this built from some kind of worst or rock bottom for you?
I don't know if it was a rock bottom, but it could be a rock bottom, I suppose, because definitely the journey over the last almost 2 years now has been quite the ride, going from a 6-figure company in 2019 to a no-figure company in March of 2020. like a 3-figure company. It was kind of brutal, and really trying to figure out the evolution of who am I. And I feel like Jean Valjean in Les Miserables, that I'm singing that song all the time. Who am I? What's the next evolution of Kristen Kramer? What's the next evolution of Girl Friday Virtual Office, which has been my company for 11 years? And so I think it was in that journey and really learning more about what I wasn't and what I didn't want that helped me get a lot of clarity around who I am and who I'm becoming and how I want to show up in the world.
I love that.
And through bold moves,
So
Right.
I want to know what you had hoped someone had told you sooner.
Yeah. I think what I wish someone had told me sooner is that you don't have to know how to build the car to drive the car. So you don't have to be a master at everything. You don't have to do it all yourself. And really, because I have struggled with overwhelm a lot, in sometimes a lot worse than other times, right? When you're in that place, it can be so hard to, you're just sort of paralyzed, right? You don't really know what to do. And so then you do nothing. And I wish that what somebody had either taught me sooner or had helped me figure out sooner is that it doesn't matter what you start with. You just start with something and get it done, and to stop swimming upstream. I cannot tell you how many years I wasted in just trying to shove square pegs through circle holes. Because I thought that's what I was supposed to be doing, right? And so I stayed in the struggle instead of going, I am not a salmon. I'm not swimming upstream anymore, and just to relax into it and sort of let things unfold and go with it versus fighting against the current. Because anytime I've done that in my business or in life in general, things have just come together. They just sort of come together. Everything just sort of falls into place. But when I'm struggling to control every single aspect and I'm fighting to, hold on with both fists, and clenching on to control for everything, that's when everything feels like it's just going to hell in a handbasket, constantly. And that adds to the overwhelm. So, yeah. And you use one of my phrases that I love, which is, you got to take the bull by the horns. Sometimes you got to drag that sucker down to the ground too.
What's amazing? It's like if we're jumping off a cliff, right? And we expect our wings to show up and just help us fly. It's really hard to embrace that moment. And what you just said resonates with me so much. And we alluded to Katie's mission a couple times here, and that's not the point of this, but I don't know jack beans about running a nonprofit, right? I do now, don't get me wrong. But I woke up one day and I was like, honey, I'm going to start a nonprofit. And he's like, you're going to what now? Woman, what are you selling? What are you doing now? And I'm like, it's okay. We're going to save the world. And I was like, how do I start? So I'm on YouTube Googling, how do I start a nonprofit in Tennessee? And what happened is I just let it go. I had no expectations. I'm like, let's just see where this, and when I embraced that, lo and behold, I was introduced to a nonprofit attorney who took us on pro bono. Through that attorney, I met a nonprofit accountant who took us on pro bono. My board of directors fell into place, and now we are offering coaching scholarships and funeral assistance. And we can. It fell into place.
Yeah, it did. It's very strange. And you can think it's synchronicity. You can think it, however you want to frame it and define it. But a lot of times I think it's because you're not so dialed in on one outcome that you are you're basically clearing the way for you to be able to see all of the possibilities, all of the avenues in front of you versus just the one square peg.
So the Kristen now, you know, you've gone through that. You're no longer swimming upstream. What can you say to that person who is swimming upstream?
Let go. Let go and let the current carry you. And I would also say that obviously it's not just enough to sort of meander around, right? Like, kind of need to know a direction. Like, you know, are you in the Atlantic Ocean or, you know, Pacific, or where are you exactly? But look for people that can help you get clarity on that. Because if you know the horizon you're aiming for, you will ultimately find a journey to get you there. It's when you're in that state of overwhelm that everything's so clouded. And that's one of the things that I work with people on, is getting the clarity, because I just have a really uncanny knack for seeing through bullshit. There's really no other way to put it. Like, I can very easily see through what you're saying, what's happening, and then what's really going on, and drilling down into that and saying, okay, here's what I think is the root cause of all of this. You don't trust yourself. So let's focus on that, get a strategy together, start building that mindset and resiliency to help you, you know, figure that out, and then actually put it into action. Because you can take notes all day long, folks, but if you don't put it into action and do something with the information, it's just shit on paper. So
True. There's no other way to put it. It's true.
Yeah.
So where can we find you?
So I'm still at girlfridayvirtualoffice.com, the website. There's even a freebie out there, and Facebook, and then I'm very active on LinkedIn as well. I'm a rebel and trying to stay off Instagram, because that would just be another place I got to manage. But Facebook and LinkedIn for social media, and then my website, and then pretty soon, hopefully next week, boldmovesboss.com will be launched.
Awesome. And then next month, the Life by Design, what chapter? We won't know yet, but
right.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Kristen.
Yeah, I'm excited. So thank you.
No, thank you. Awesome job. Summer, I'm looking right at you.
Hello, everybody.
Hi. What's up, Summer?
Oh, I'm just so thrilled to be here. I'm so involved and enthralled in everyone's stories. I'm like, oh my gosh, tell me more. I can't wait. I'm just so honored to be with this group of women.
Isn't it awesome? We don't just play friends on TV. We're all friends, and we're all so up in each other's network. It's not even funny. So welcome to the crowd. This is going to see your chapter in this project. And why is Summer doing this? What are we going to walk away with?
Sounds good. Well, I've just felt really called to, when this project was presented, I felt really called to be a part of it, because I think, especially the last couple of years, things have just been happening so fast, and it's just been really out of control. And what I want to help people learn and do is to make these intentional choices. Don't just get swept up because everything's feeling out of control, and like make a plan, make some intentional choices. Big things are happening, and we can still be positive, and we can still live a life that we choose to live.
I love that. Life by Design, right?
Life by Design. I mean, I really was called. Like, the second I heard the title, I was like, I have to be a part of this project.
Love it. We're glad you're here. So Summer, at her worst, whatever that was,
Yes.
what do
So
you wish someone had told you?
it's funny because someone actually did tell me this. It was while I was going through my worst. So I became the caretaker for my mom. I had just sold my business. So there was a lot of grief coming at me from all sorts of different angles. And COVID was happening. I was distance learning my 3 kids. I mean, it was just out of control and overwhelming. And it felt like things were happening to me. Like nothing was happening because of things that I did. They were all happening to me. And a friend of mine stopped by and she said, you've got to give yourself some grace. Give yourself grace. And I really related to or resonated with Kristen when she was saying that square peg in a round hole, because I think I was just trying to force things and like, we have to be normal. We have to be, well, what is normal? It's all unprecedented. It's all new. We don't know. And so when this friend of mine came by and said, you have to give yourself grace because you never know when that grief is going to pop up, and it's going to pop up in the weirdest place and the weirdest way. And so just give yourself some grace. And I started doing that, and my life became much happier. You know, things were still going on. It was still, you know, still rough, but I was a happier person. And so I think that's what I really want to help people. It's like, you know, even if things feel out of control, give yourself some grace, gather your tools, implement your tools, and live the life you want to live. You're in control.
So powerful. This is exactly what I was hoping for, right? So many people out there are either living their life based on other people's expectations, yes, or they're looking at each of you going, oh my gosh, Kristen has it together, Summer has it together, Teresa has it. And then it's like, I'll never compare. When it's like, listen, let me tell you how real we really are. Let me tell you how kind of fucked up we are too. Right. And let me show you how to get past that so you can be equally effed up, but living authentically and okay, right? You're giving yourself grace. You're okay with who you are. You're no longer comparing yourself. That's what life is.
Yes.
There's never a perfect anything, but you can design your happiness. That's what it is. So looking back, now you are where you are. Unfortunately, Mom has passed, and I get emotional for you by saying that. What do you want to say to that person who's going through their worst?
I want to say take time and lean into rest. You don't have to be busy all the time, and it's okay to lean into that rest. And that takes some work, especially if I think, well, I'm an overachiever. I move fast. I like to get things done. And so that leaning into rest, I had to learn how to do that. That was big work. And so I want to tell people that it's okay if your new normal looks different.
New normal. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. So what do you do? How do you help people? How are you impacting the world today?
Well, I'm an education consultant. The early childhood education world has captured my heart. I can't leave. I'm stuck. I love it so much. And so I help early childhood education leaders gain control in their day. I think so often this is an industry where everything's on fire all the time. There's no other way to say it. Everything is on fire all the time. And you don't know if it's going to be a bloody nose or a licensing inspection or a piece of paper that's missing or not having enough glue or we ran out of milk. Like everything's on fire all the time. You never know. And so what I really want to do is help the leaders in this industry who are so heart-centered and heart-driven think about themselves too, and gather the tools, gain the tools to really, really lead a happy life.
That's awesome. Wow, that's awesome.
Thank you. I love it.
Wow. I used to be in the medical field, and of course it wasn't
similar.
Like, but I felt that, like, just always putting out fires, skipping lunches, drinking a Diet Coke, going without, working long extended days, and then always being the last parent to pick my kid up from daycare, and it's like, that's not sexy. that's not existing. I mean, that you are existing, you're not thriving at that point. So right. Where can we find you?
So my website is consciousclassroommodel.com. Otherwise Facebook, Summer Piha, or the Conscious Classroom Model.
I love it so much. Thank you, Summer.
Thanks
We're
for having me.
excited to have you here.
So thrilled to be here with everyone. You guys are amazing.
We have quite the crew, I got to tell you. And last but not least, Whitefire. Wait till you hear this one.
Woohoo!
She's a live wire. What's up, lady?
Here we go. Here we go. So the reason that I came to this book is because it is life by design, no matter what has happened in your past. And I think for me, somebody said it at an Aikido exam, actually, and it's a quote that I don't know where it came from, but it's everything's all right in the end. If it's not all right, it's not the end. That's it. You know, you can apply that to everything. You can apply that if you are on the edge of suicide. You can apply that if your business is all screwed up. You can apply that if your business is going great and then your life is a mess. It doesn't matter, you know? And I think for me, my biggest takeaway from the things that have happened in my life, and there were a slew of them, is that when I couldn't reach out to someone else, my gut was always leading me. My gut always knew the truth. And so I could listen to that gut level of myself that was, you know, the divine in action, so to speak, you know? It was that part of me that pulled me forward all the time. My friend sent me this card one time, which was phenomenal. And it showed this woman walking off a cliff, okay, onto a rope, which she herself was holding. Okay. And that was just, you know, there was a strength in that. You are walking forward. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't need help. But if the people that you were relying on caused some trauma in your life, if the people that you were relying on for helping you with business weren't taking you in the direction you needed to go, then you come back to that. You know, it's the mindset of knowing that there is always somebody else out there that lines up with who you are, who you truly are, who your gut tells you you are. And so it's being alive and free in who you are. You know, it is being, it is crazy times of your power in crazy times. It's deciding to do the opposite of what people are telling you can do, because you can. So I think for me, it's like coming home to your gut always knows the truth. And there are people like you, like this group of phenomenal women here, who are leading us forward, who are helping us through all the little changes we need to do. So, yeah.
I love that. I love that. Oh, it's amazing. You guys, have you ever seen Moana? When you saw the crazy little town grandma, like you think that's Whitefire, and then she's like the most profound person you've ever met in your life, and you're like, shit, you're full of wisdom and glory. I love it. So listen, hold on. You scared me a little bit when you said that lady was walking off the cliff,
Yeah.
holding her rope.
Yeah.
Then it clicked,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh shit, that's awesome. Like she's strong, right? So
but what have we each done every time? You know, when we have decided to move forward, we have trusted that gut instinct to move forward. We have trusted that, and we have found the people to support us in that.
I love that. So there was a whole bunch in there, and I think you kind of answered all of my questions, but I'm going to pick it apart a little bit. And thinking back, I mean, you've had a life full of all kinds of stuff. And what do you wish someone had told you sooner? Or maybe something like Summer that they did tell you and you just you weren't ready?
I think it is that you are valuable, and all your experiences are valuable. Every one of them are valuable into the value that you are right now in this moment. And they are your strength. I think the big statement is, you are not your story, but you are the creator of your story. And since your story never ends, you get to change it at any moment.
So powerful. Right. So powerful.
Yeah.
So
So leaping off that cliff, crazy times your power. When everybody says, "Oh, it's crazy times," no, it's like, no, own it, do it, go.
crazy times your power.
Yeah.
If that doesn't light you up and get you motivated, I don't know what will, honestly. Like, hey, it's crazy. Yep, like that. My power is crazy more times. So let's go. Let's go. So now there are people out there who are like, I want to do that. I want to crazy times my power. What is my power, right? What do you say to that person who's in that space?
Well, I help entrepreneurial women launch their big vision. So it's a visionary entrepreneurs moving toward where they need to go. So visionary entrepreneur mindset is what I'm all about. What is it that you need to shift that? It can shift on a dime. And so, I mean, like instantaneous shifts, nanosecond shifts is what I call them. So, yeah.
I love that. I love that. So you really kind of answered this in great detail, but what do you do? Like, how are you helping them?
I help people shift their mindset so that they can tangibly move in each moment toward their big vision. So if you're an entrepreneur and you have a big vision, but you keep making decisions that take you off track, I help you find ways, a list of different ways that can nanosecond back to truth over and over.
I love that.
And it's several different methods that work in minutes, in seconds sometimes.
Well,
Yeah.
that's a superpower right there.
That's a superpower. We
love
got it.
that.
We got it. We might as well use it.
Hell yeah. So where can we find you?
So I haven't done all my profile shifts or everything, but Facebook is where you're going to find me. And I'm going to be on LinkedIn more. And I think the other thing is probably Instagram. I'm not sure of that yet, but you'll find me on my Facebook.
Awesome.
And that's at Whitefire Faulkner. So.
All right. I've actually tagged everybody's profile. So if you are inspired by one of our authors or all of our authors, click their profile, follow them. This book, this is no joke. Mona, I was going to save you for last so that I can talk about Katie's mission and how much you support us.
I'm on a Katie's mission at 3.
So you got to help our clients, suicide is not an option, right?
Right.
And that's where Mona comes in. But anyway, in your own business, tell us, what you're hoping that your audience walks away with, by you participating in this project as well.
To realize that trauma can be resolved without reliving it, that they're not broken. They are wounded and wounds can heal. And that traditional ways of working with trauma survivors don't work. They didn't work well for me. And so I became a therapist and now a coach so that I could find what would work best for me. And now I use it to help my clients as well. I want to help people to understand that they were victimized. And that as victims, your story, if you ever are saying, I am a victim, I am this, I am that, that's your story. And we can get trapped in those stories. I was victimized, I was traumatized, but I also survived and I overcame the impact of the traumas that I experienced. And then I began to thrive. And then in my thriving, I became a provider. And so there's no limit to what you can do when you begin to see yourself as a survivor, and then to challenge your stories and begin to take responsibility and become a creator. You are the creator of your own destiny. I created mine, and yes, I have a co-creator, a co-pilot, infinite intelligent being that I choose to rely on. It's not all from me, but it comes through me. But you know, we really need to understand how our limiting beliefs, and some others have commented on this, that we have stories, limiting beliefs, and I guide people to turn those limiting beliefs into liberating beliefs. And then the biggest thing, and you've already mentioned Katie's mission. My mission is to reduce the number of deaths by suicide. I too am a suicide attempt survivor, and I wish somebody had told me that my life didn't have to end for my pain to end. And you know, if you're suffering with shame, guilt, grief, regret, stress, worry, procrastination, those are often symptoms that come out of our stories and that are related to trauma and dysfunctional behaviors that come out of the things that we learned early in childhood. There's a new type of trauma, it's called developmental trauma, and I tend to specialize in that. So I'm hoping that that's what people will get out of this book, and what I hope to share.
Thank you so much. Thank you for answering all my questions so I didn't have to stop you to ask. So that was awesome. You're so prepared. I say this all the time. We can't save the world, right? I can save a world. Summer can save a world. You're going to save a world. And together, that's how we save the world. So thank you.
And that's why my logo is the starfish, one starfish at a time.
Love it. I love it. Thank you so much. Where can we find you?
ResolveItCoaching.com and Mona Catan on Facebook, or Mona LCSW on Instagram. And yeah, I'm around.
I'll put your links everywhere. Don't you worry.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mona.
Bye.
I appreciate you. I always say, you know, suicide is a permanent decision to a temporary problem. And I understand that now. So I want to prove, if you've hung on with us this long and you're still watching, or maybe you're just hopping on, I want to prove to you that everything everybody here said is a fact. You can reclaim your power. You can jump off the cliff. You're holding the rope. It's never too late. So Teresa, I'm going to ask you 2 questions. You're only allowed to give me 1 word answer. That's it, 1 word answer. So I want you to describe yourself in 1 word when you were at your worst.
Mess.
And how do you describe yourself in this moment?
Improving.
Boom. It's possible. Martha? In 1 word, describe yourself when you were at your absolute worst.
Hopeless.
And how about right now?
Joyful.
Did you ever think that was possible?
No.
Nope. Okay. Thank you. Kim?
Was joyless,
Joyless. And now?
joyful.
Got a lot of happy ladies up in his house. How about you, Kristen?
Oh, confused. And now I'd say bold.
Bold. All right, we went from confused to bold. I like it. Summer?
I would say I was sad.
And now?
I'm inspired.
Ooh, I like that. Back to you, Whitefire.
Mistrusting. And now, powerful.
Oh, this is an insane way to end today. I hope that you're inspired. I hope that you're going to stalk these amazing people, because there were so many worse and so many rock bottoms and so many what ifs and so many I'll never make it's. And this right here is proof that you can and you will. I love you guys so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for doing what you do. And I'll see you next time. Bye for now.